A very good morning, class. Today I am here again in your science class, and we are going to start a new chapter in your science class today, that is soil. You must have wondered every morning when you wake up, the sweeper cleaning the roads, he's cleaning the dust on the roads. But where does this dust actually comes daily, and what this dust is actually made up of? This dust actually comes from soil. But what exactly soil is? Soil is actually the uppermost layer of the earth crust. The word soil is derived from the Latin word which means solum, and its meaning is earthy material. Soil contains 0.01% of the earth's water. 50% of the soil is air and water. The rest is mineral and organic material. Now we will study soil and its importance. Soil is an important part of the land and is one of the important natural resources. What are natural resources? Natural resources are those resources which has been given to us by God and nature, which is not man-made. So we can now define soil as the uppermost layer of the earth crust in which plants grow. So basically this soil is utilized by the plants for growing up. We know that plants need soil to grow. It helps the plants by holding their roots firmly so that they do not move, and providing water and nutrients so that they can prepare their food by the process known as photosynthesis. Soil is also very essential for agriculture purposes also. Soil is also a place for many organisms where they live. So soil plays a very important role in their life. Now we are going to study the formation of the soil. How does the soil is formed and what exactly the process behind it? Does it forms in a day or two? No. Soil is formed by a very gradual process and it takes thousands of years to form. It is basically formed by the breakdown of the rocks by the action of water, ice, wind, climate, and even living organism. So we can say that these conditions are necessary for the formation of soil. Means breaking down of the rocks by the action of water, wind, climate, that is the temperature changes, and even living organism. And this process of the formation of the soil from the breakdown of the rock is called weathering. ये जो soil formed हो रहा है by the process जिससे rocks break down हो रही हैं smaller particles में to form the soil, that process is known as weathering. The nature of the soil formed depends upon the three factors. The first factor is the rock from which it has been formed. जिस rock का वो बना है, the type of vegetation that grows in it, and the climate of that place. So three things are important here: the type of the rocks from its form, the type of the vegetation that grows in it, and the climate of that place. Now we will study the types of the rocks from which the soil is formed. Basically, rocks are of three types. You must have studied in your geography also. The first one is the igneous rocks, formed due to cooling of the molten magma or lava. जब molten magma cool down होता है तो जिससे rock बनती है उसे हम igneous rock कहते हैं. Next is the sedimentary rocks, formed by the deposition of weathered minerals which are derived from the igneous rock. Basically ये बनता igneous से ही है. इसके example हैं sandstone and limestone. The third one is metamorphic rocks, formed by the physical or chemical alteration of the existing rocks by heat and pressure into denser form. Example gneis and marble. क्या होता है जब rock के ऊपर physical और chemical changes apply होते हैं by heat or pressure, then the rocks which is formed is known as metamorphic rocks. So these are the three types of rocks. Now we will study the agents which brings about the weathering of the rocks. Which all agents are helping in the weathering of the rocks we will discuss. The first one is water. water plays a very important role in breaking down the large pieces of the rocks into smaller ones. रेन वाटर क्या होता है, इनके स्मॉल क्रेविसेस जो होते हैं, रॉक्स के जो होल्स होते हैं उसमें एंटर कर जाता है. इन विंटर दिस वाटर फ्रीजेस टू फॉर्म आइस. When the ice in the crevices of these rocks expand, it causes the crevices to open up and it breaks down into the smaller chunks. Rain and river water further break down the rock particles into fine. और रेन होगी तो वो छोटे पीसेस में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा. Wind blows across the rocky surface also and has a harmful effect. It carries away the minute rock particle to the other places. Certain plants like lichens grow on the surface of the rocks. These lichens produce acids which acts on the rocky surface and produce fine soil particles. The next is these rocks expand during the day due to the heating. Sun rays will fall on it and it will expand, and at night it will contract. Regular expansion and contraction will also cause the breakdown. So ultimately they crack and break down. So these were the agents responsible for the process of weathering. The next very important topic of this chapter is the soil profile. The layers of the soil is known as soil profile. Each layer of the soil we will study. So we can define these soil profile, a vertical action of the soil showing it different layers or horizon. In layers को हम horizon भी कहते हैं. Basically there are three types of layers of soil. The first one is the topsoil called A horizon. Second is subsoil called B horizon. And third one is the parent rock called C horizon. Below the parent rock there is a solid rock which is called as bedrock, completely made up of rock. Now one by one we will study all these layers. The first one is the topsoil, also called as A horizon. That is the uppermost layer. It is usually the darkest in color and it is rich in humus. What is humus? The decayed plants and animal remains, which is very good for the fertility of the soil. This layer is soft and porous and can hold a lot of water. The roots of the small plants are completely embedded in the topsoil. In the case of trees, the roots may go down to B horizon. Next, we are going to study the second layer, that is the subsoil or the B horizon. The layer below the topsoil is known as B horizon or middle layer. It is lighter in color as compared to the topsoil. It is usually harder and more compact than the topsoil. It is rich in soluble minerals and iron oxide. It contains humus but very little. Rainwater collects in this layer. Now the third one, that is the parent rock or the C horizon. The layer below the subsoil is called as parent rock or the C horizon. It is made up of small lumps of rock with spaces in between. Rocks होती है पर उनके बीच में spaces are also there. Rainwater collects in this region also. Below the parent rock there is a solid rock which is known as bedrock. It is hard and cannot be dug up into the space.